Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 429 based on novel. So let's start. With the fall of the medicinal clan festival, the entire Doyun continent became extremely nervous. Obviously, the ancient battles in the medicinal world have been known by countless forces, and the forces of the secret are rapidly gathering. The power of one person may be small, but as long as there are enough numbers, there will be a real qualitative change. In a corner of the Holy City, here is the so-called Spirit Steely Hall. The Hall of Spirit Steelies is a forbidden place for the Holy See, where all the high-level Spirit Steelies of the Holy See are kept, which can clearly distinguish their life and death. Because of the special nature of the Holy See, almost no one dared to disobey and kill the powerful people of the Holy See, and once there is an arrogant person, unless there are very special existences, the murderer can be clearly found through the spiritual monument, without exception. The Hall of the Steely is resplendent, with nearly 100 milky white oil lamps forming a pentagram in the void of the hall. In the pentagram array, there are several spiritual tablets flickering. The spiritual tablets are arranged in a triangle shape, with one at the top, then 3, then 6, in 3 columns in total. They seem to correspond to the Pope of the Holy See, the 3 cardinal archbishops, and so on. With a sound, the second spiritual monument in the third row of the pentagram array suddenly dimmed. After a while, it crashed down from the triangular array of the ancestral hall. Countless tiny cracks emerged from the spiritual monument. This is the spiritual monument of the second believer hill? What exactly is going on? When this strangeness appeared, a void in the hall of the Steely suddenly trembled, and an old man with golden hair was extremely puzzled. The old man opened his eyes and slowly stared at the hill spirit monument in front of him, thinking. The identity of this guy is impressively a priest of the Holy See. In the Holy See, there are only 2 priests in total. Although the 2 of them are only 8-star fighting immortals, even the 3 red-clothed archbishops would not dare to make mistakes when they saw them. Because the 2 priests control the language of the angels, communicate with the Holy See and connect with the kingdom of angels, and are also the messengers who bestow the will of the angel. The coming of the will of the kingdom of angels and the gift of the angel wings from the Holy See powerhouse require their strength, which also establishes the loftiness of their identities. Crack. In just a moment, Hill's spiritual monument was shattered and turned into countless star debris and annihilated in the hall of the spiritual monument. Someone killed a second faith. In an instant, the eyes of the priest became extremely hideous, and an unbelievable look emerged. After a few breaths, the third column of the pentagram array was in the first position, and a light monument next to the first echelon fell uncontrollably together. The 2 spiritual tablets symbolize the first believer Austin and the Son of Light respectively. Boom. An unprecedented horror lingered in the heart of the sacrifice, but before he could make a move, the spiritual monument in the second column was falling down. Countless dense cracks crawled out, although they were not broken, they were obviously dying. You must report to the red-clothed archbishop and the pope. At this moment, the priest panicked, and hurriedly walked towards the core area of the Holy City. The fall of the second believer, the serious injury of the first believer and the Son of Light, and even the whereabouts of the red-clothed Archbishop Lacey are unknown. This is clearly a challenge to the majesty of the Holy See. No matter who it is, once the culprit is found, the Holy See will strangle it at all cost. Just as the sacrificed man walked on his forefoot, the 3 red-robed archbishops' spiritual monuments crashed to the ground at the peak of the spiritual monuments. On the Lacey monument, a dark and evil charm lingered around him, which was extremely eerie. On the other side, the land of ancient races above Doyun continent. Tomorrow is the day when the meeting of the ancient races begins. I don't know why I always have the illusion that something is wrong. Yarrow Tianmo's middle-aged body sat in a pavilion and spoke softly, as if waiting for someone. This guy has already survived for thousands of years, nearly 10,000 years. With the addition of the holy rank 8th rank heaven-level pharmacist technology, it is naturally not difficult to refine some magical medicines used to temporarily cover his face. Old Yarrow, everything is done properly. As soon as Yarrow Tianmo's voice dissipated, in the depths of the Yarrow clan's path, an old man with white hair walked out, with a rare gratification on his brows. Jiyu Xingtian, I didn't expect you to actually break through. It really makes my old bones feel ashamed. Yarrow Tianmo looked at the old man walking towards him, but was unable to shake his head. The double reincarnation level is really mysterious and mysterious. I also used the treasures of the ancient clan to break through by luck when the deadline came. Yarrow Xingtian shook his head gently, listening to Yarrow Tianmo talking about this. even with his arrogance, he had to bow his head. The power of samsara tribulation is countless times more tyrannical than Dan-Lei tribulation. It is a terrifying catastrophe that is dependent on life and death in a single thought. Even Jiyu Xingtian, who is now in the second-level samsara realm, does not want to recall it. It's good to break through. Among our medicine clan, among the 3 supreme elders, I am the only one who wakes up. The other 2 have fallen into deep seclusion. Forcing them to wake up may cause accidents. Yarrow Tianmo's brows suddenly wrinkled. Obviously, when facing a behemoth like the Holy See, he also felt powerless. The situation of the ancients is similar to yours. I am the only one who is reincarnated. In addition, Jiyu Yuan touches reincarnation. And according to the information I got, it seems that there is only one reincarnation powerhouse from other clans, and some of them have just touched the reincarnation, and the strongest ones can only step into the reincarnation. In this case, combined with the power of our ancient races, there are a total of 7 reincarnations. This power faces the Holy See. If the Pope is not there, there is still a chance of victory. If the Pope exists, I am afraid that this time, we have no chance of winning. Jiyu Xingtian's eyelids kept beating, and his expression was extraordinarily solemn. The Pope's strength is really so profound. Yarrow Tianmo couldn't help but ask. Back then, the Soul Eater of the Ghost Realm and others were fortunate enough to fight against the Pope. At that time, they were all 8-star fighting immortals. Rumors were that they were tied, but very few people knew that he was defeated by the Pope. Thousands of years have passed, with the Pope's talent and strength, plus the increase in the angel's wings, the strength should have surpassed that of the red-clothed archbishop. As far as I know, the strongest of the 3 red-clothed archbishops seem to have reached the peak of double reincarnation. So, you should know what I mean. Jiyu Xingtian said word by word. What about the descendant of the Xiao family? Yarrow Tianmo shook his head and asked softly. I have secretly sent the 2 of them away with a few strong men and returned to his territory. Although the medicine family is good, it is not suitable for him. But it's a bit strange to say that the space between Shenling continent and our Doyun continent seems to be imprisoned by someone. I can't shake it with the power of reincarnation. I can only succeed by luck with the power of all fairy weapons. Send it back. Jiyu Xingtian wondered. Now that you're ready, let's wait and see. Wait for the discussion after the ancient meeting tomorrow. Yarrow Tianmo said thoughtfully. With this move, it was actually for them to leave a backup. After all, the fate of the demon Xiao Yang is still unknown. Report. Elder Taishang, the big thing is bad. Soul. The power under the vassal of the Soul Clan, the Soul Palace, was executed by the Holy See. No one survived. Just when the 2 supreme elders were about to discuss some coping strategies, a hurried voice slowly came from the sky of the Medicine Clan, with a mighty momentum. The Soul Palace was executed by the Holy See. Jiyu Xingtian and Yarrow Tianmo got up at the same time, their bodies tensed up, and a chill that something bad was going on appeared. The Soul Clan and the Soul Palace are 2 forces. This kind of news has been known to them for many years, but the strength of the Soul Palace should not be underestimated. It's probably not that simple. Let's go, it looks like we can't wait for tomorrow. They can't wait to arrive. Before Yarrow Tianmo could open his mouth, under the Yaozu mountain range in the distance, the sound of breaking wind emerged one after another, the void burst, and the terrifying aura suppressed every grass and tree here. Those guys are obviously all the elders of the ancient races, the real heritage among the ancient races. Everyone, Yao has been waiting for a long time, please. Yarrow Tianmo and Jiyu Xingtian looked at each other, lifted off at the same time, and walked away at the menacing group of people. They were all old acquaintances, and they were naturally aware of the severe situation they were facing. Medicine Family, the highest level conference hall. This place is made of precious cold iron, and the place is simple, but the degree of confidentiality is tight, which is very suitable for the powerhouse to talk. Old Yarrow, Ancient of War. Since our 7 ancient clans have arrived, the old man will not hide it. Just as your medicine clan ceremony was going on, the Holy See powerhouse secretly dispatched a team to uproot the Soul Temple under our Soul Clan. No data points are wiped out, and even the powerhouses such as the Hall Master of the Soul Palace have all died. Soul Clan Supreme Elder, Soul Xiaoyang's face darkened, and endless anger swept out. The Soul Palace had already gone out independently, but this kind of slap in the face still chilled the hearts of many senior members of the Soul Clan. The Soul Palace is completely destroyed. When the other elders heard the words, they also looked at each other in dismay, at a loss for a while. Brother Xiaoyang, Don't be impatient. Your Soul Clan and Soul Hall were divided into two families as early as 1,000 years ago, and now the Holy Sea's behavior is probably because of the ancient clan and the power of those foreign evil clans, even if it is us. Not much to say. Ling Ezi's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly. Although this is true, the arrogant arrogance of the Holy See, I am afraid that it will completely come to our ancient 7 clans in the near future. Without the existence of the Xiao clan or Xiao Yang, the 7 samsaras we are present today are probably not enough to confront the Holy See head-on. Soul Xiaoyang also said with emotion that the destruction of the Soul Palace was just a wake-up call, and what really scared them was the Holy See, the insurmountable Tianshan. I believe you all know that the Battle of Reincarnation, the 7-star fighting immortals and the 8-star fighting immortals, can only be counted as artillery fire, and they cannot control the battle situation at all. Soul Xiaoyang's face has been suppressing anger, and now the situation has vaguely surpassed their understanding. It is said that Xiao Yang is the domain owner of the Endless Fire territory. It seems that there are several mysterious powerhouses in the Endless Fire territory. If we can get their help, I am afraid that some of our disadvantages can be resolved. After a while, Shahao, the supreme elder of the Stone Clan, spoke up. Stone people are good at escaping the rock system, and naturally they are somewhat aware of some hidden powers in the Endless Fire domain. Those guys are the guardians of the Endless Fire territory, and their strength has not recovered yet, but they did send their forces to help us and are rushing here. Jiyu Xingtian's eyelids twitched, wondering why Lei Hao knew such obscure information. In this case, the Holy See still has 2 red-clothed archbishops left. And these 2 red-clothed archbishops have been famous for many years, and their strength is more terrifying than Lacey. Yarrow Tianmo also nodded and said. But the most troublesome among the Holy See is the Pope. The Pope's divine might may not have been tyrannical by the 3 red-clothed archbishops 1,000 years ago, but today, 1,000 years later, his power has already surpassed the 3 red-clothed archbishops. In addition to some obscure offerings in the Holy See Holy City, this battle will probably be extremely terrifying. The supreme elder of the Yang clan, Yang Zhixin, with fluffy red hair, stood up strong, and expressed the worry in his heart without reservation. As early as 1,000 years ago, the 7 ancient clans planned to unite to besiege the Holy See, but at that time their strength was too weak and they broke up unhappily. Now there is only one supreme elder in their respective clan who has awakened, and there is still an irreparable gap between the combat power and the Holy See, but the grievances have been forged, and now they can only bite the bullet. I just came back from the Holy See Holy City, and found that the Pope's aura in the Holy City was floating, and even explored with my clan's secret techniques. Now the Pope doesn't seem to be in the Holy City, and the Pope's aura in the Holy City is just a guise. Just when the atmosphere in the conference room was extremely depressed, Lei Shuyuan couldn't help but speak, the always quiet elder of the Lei clan. The Pope is not in the Holy City. Lei Shuyuan's speech eased the situation that had always been serious and dead, and several other people looked at him invariably. My Thunder clan has a secret technique called Thunder Breath Resonance, which can find the source of the breath by virtue of the small fluctuations in the air. This information has been confirmed by me again and again. I would like to swear by my life, and I will never lie. Lei Shuyuan said frankly. If the Pope is not there, it will be easy. If everyone nodded with understanding, it is obvious that this matter is related to the fate of their respective races behind them, and they dare not be sloppy. Together with our 7 ancient clans, and the other 3, plus the power of many forces such as the Endless Fire domain in the mainland, the power under the reincarnation in the Holy See does not need to worry too much. The next thing to consider is the remaining 2A cardinal and an elusive pope. Everyone, talk about it. After some quiet, Jiyu Xingtian opened his mouth, and the next step is to reach a crucial part. The 7 of us are enough to stop the strongest red-clothed archbishop, and the remaining one who is slightly weaker may only be dealt with by other strong people. I hope this time the danger can be saved. After a while, everyone came to this conclusion. After all, the level of reincarnation, the difference of 1 level, is enough to obliterate millions of living beings, and the 7 of them did not dare to take it lightly. If that's the case, then everyone should go back today. 5 days later, integrate the power, contact the power of the entire Doyun continent, and attack the Holy See. This is our last chance. Whether it is destroyed or reborn, it depends on this time. Yarrow Tianmo and Jiyu Xingtian looked at each other and said, "Let's go. This time, it should be the most drastic change in the Do Emperor continent. I just don't know why the plain guardian of the Do D continent hasn't come forward yet." The original battle between the demon Xiao Yang and the red-clothed archbishop did not lead to the guardian of the plain. What's going on? Until the other 5 clan elders dispersed, Jiyu Xingtian muttered a few words. I don't know. I'm afraid the center of the human world has something to call them back. After all, our Dudi continent is a rather special continent next to the human world. Next, integrate all the forces and fight them to the death. The lingering voice curled. The real storm was coming. Xianling Continent, Xianling Mountain, Endless Fire Territory Base Camp. Master Mistress, everything has been arranged according to your instructions. All martial law in the Endless Fire Territory, all the high-level recovery pills and spiritual auras in all the sects are gathered in our Xianling Mountain, waiting for your dispatch. On the top of Xianling Mountain, in the majestic serpent-shaped palace, Kaelin and Mu Ingying were seated slightly, and several powerful men below spoke solemnly. Naturally, they didn't know what they were doing, but they couldn't go against the wishes of the 2 mistresses, Kaelin and Mu Ingying. Thank you for your hard work. Go down and be alert. The Endless Fire Territory has entered a special period, and all exchanges with the strong are interrupted, and no one is allowed to set foot here. Even if you pay for it with your life, my snake people will be at the forefront of the battle. Kaelin's icy voice swept through the entire palace, instantly convincing countless hearts. Yes. Listening to the words of the mistress, these high-level officials did not ask any further questions, and quietly left here to perform their respective duties. Sister Kaelin. After the palace was empty, there was a rare sadness in Mu Ingying's eyes. Don't worry, it'll be fine this time. With the help of these medicinal pills and spiritual energy, the 2 of them were able to recover in a very short time. At this time, Kaelin slapped Mu Ingying's jade hand like a big sister, comforting her. Her palm was squirming, and she used extremely obscure means to face the ring of recovery pills in front of her against the Endless Fire Territory. Projected underground. Senior Feng has already taken several strong men from our Endless Fire Territory towards the Holy See. This time, things are really beyond the control of the ancient races. Xiao Yang and Zuna have been sent back by the ancients. The 2 of them are in a 1,000-meter abyss under Xianling Mountain, where there is a retreat specially tailored for them. Everything, wait until the 2 of them wake up. Seeing Mu Ingying's suspicious expression, Kaelin finally decided to tell her. They'll be fine. Mu Ingying nodded solemnly. Don't worry, both of them seem to be undergoing some kind of special changes now. With the medicinal pills given by the ancient race and our resource support, they will wake up soon. Yu Yin curled up, and the 2 of them lost their voices immediately, but the 2 girls knew that without Feng Lao, the Endless Fire area today is extremely dangerous, and this is also the most difficult step. Once this tactic is seen through by the Holy See will send strong men to hunt down the Endless Fire Territory, and I am afraid that blood will flow into the river here. But in this case, the Holy See is weak, and the battle between the ancient races and them can have a chance of survival. In fact, this is all they are gambling. At this moment, the entire Endless Fire Territory is highly tense. Countless guards, secretly, are alerting the core of the entire Endless Fire Territory, as if they are guarding against something. Wong buzz. With the advent of the war, the entire Dudi continent seemed unusually calm, and the hero who turned into a demon and defeated the red-clothed Archbishop Lacey with his own strength also ushered in his own journey. Although the medicine family is good, they cannot give Xiao Yang the most perfect help. Coupled with the fact that several elders were afraid of the sudden attack of the Holy See, they did not hesitate to use great means to send Xiao Yang and Zuna back to the Endless Fire domain. Firstly, for the sake of the 2 to regain their strength, and secondly, to save them for the point of no redemption. If they fail, the younger generation of their respective races will be the last bloodline of their ancient race. This is where the memory of the demon Xiao Yang had just recovered a little. At this time, his body was lying quietly under a bottomless 1,000-meter abyss in the Endless Fire zone. This is in the Endless Fire area, and only the 2 masters have the authority to use the retreat room. It was constructed by the color scale at an extremely huge cost. Not to mention the degree of sturdiness and concealment, it is here that countless worlds can be gathered. Energy, or even the spiritual veins that provoke the Xianling continent, is enough to make countless people go crazy. In the tight stone room, Xiao Yang's body was motionless, blood dripping all over his body, even his flesh and blood became blurred, and he could vaguely see the white bones under his skin, which was quite scary. If it weren't for the protection of immortality, I am afraid that Xiao Yang would have completely fallen into the battle of the medicine world. Immortal, terrifying, mysterious to the extreme, Xiao Yang's body was extremely cold, like a beast that was on the verge of death. There was no movement at all, but his soul power broke away from his body and entered a different dimension world. His memory still lingered that he used the power of Buddha's reincarnation to repel Lacey, but there was a power in his body that controlled his body like a real god, as if he was planning something, and then Xiao Yang had nothing he knew, but he could sense that his body seemed to be moved one after another, and he had no idea where he was now. The power of the fusion of holy flame and demon power is too terrifying. Fortunately, there is a full demon cube, and the demon power has not counteracted. Next, there is no full demon cube. If you use the power of the demon, I am afraid you will face extremely terrifying backlash. But it's strange. The power that controlled my body at the last moment of the previous battle did not seem to come from the outside world, but from within my body. What is that? Xiao Yang walked quietly in the different dimensional world, without any extra thought to pay attention to the sparkling water around him. He thought with all his heart. At the time of the final battle, the reincarnation of the Buddha was enough to completely obliterate Lacey, but after the appearance of the mysterious power, the power of the reincarnation of the Buddha was greatly weakened. Even Xiao Yang had an illusion. That kind of power was somewhat similar to the power of a demon. And that kind of power is exactly the same at the end of the ancient clan's solution to the foreign evil clan. The guy who shot at the last moment in the ancient clan and the mysterious power that controlled his body in the medicine world probably originated from the same place. As for whether it was done by the same person, Xiao Yang was not sure. In this different dimension, endless deep black holes emerged, dark and dark, like purgatory. Under his footsteps, there are rivers that cannot be touched. The river surface is sparkling, and a surging breath is released, which makes people feel depressed. At this time, Xiao Yang's illusory soul body is gently stepping on it. Where is this? Xiao Yang couldn't help muttering, but after feeling the weakening power in his body, he couldn't help shaking his head. Wong buzz. Just when Xiao Yang was quite puzzled, in the stone chamber outside, there were faint gaps in the south and the north. Suddenly, a brown flame and a cyan river emerged continuously, surrounded by Xiao Yang's skin that was riddled with holes. At this time, the body of the demon was like a starving beast, its endless power was absorbed by it greedily, and at the heart of Xiao Yang's body, there was a rather mysterious firefox, jumping slightly. The power of Xiao Yang swept through Xiao Yang's body. With the nourishment of these powers, the wounds on the body also become weaker, and it seems to be recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. The brown flame and cyan water were composed of countless recovery pills and energy from heaven and earth. They continuously supplied Xiao Yang with the purest power. In addition to Xiao Yang's own immortal power, and a touch of incomparable power in his body. Xian Ao's holy flame source power, Xiao Yang today, rises in the flames. That feeling is like a bleak phoenix, waiting for the moment of nirvana. Phoenix nirvana, or rebirth. When Xiao Yang succeeds in nirvana, I am afraid that Xiao Yang's prestige will be spread far and wide in Dodi continent. Once the time has passed, it will be 5 days. In the past 5 days, Doyun continent and many other forces have set up countless ambushes at the Holy See Holy City and the Tower of Tongtian. Everything is ready. As long as the elders of the ancient races give an order, they will go in without stopping and fight to the death with the Holy See. The Tower of the Sky, the Holy City. Both are the bases of the Holy See, but the most grand is the Holy City. At this time, there was a mountain 100 miles away from the Holy City. Everyone, don't be impatient. At this time, the patriarchs of the 7 ancient clans and the leaders of some major forces have gathered here. None of them dared to act rashly, all of them were waiting for the order of the elder Taishang, and they appeared here to monitor every move of the Holy City. In the current situation, could it be that we are too impatient? After a while, the patriarch of the Lei clan looked worried, looking at the Holy See Holy City, which was still quiet in the distance, and couldn't help but say, "Not in a hurry. The Holy See Tongtian Tower has been besieged by all our forces, and the power there is not to be feared. Now, as long as the Holy City's intelligence investigation is clear, the final battle can begin. However, once this kind of battle begins, it cannot be stopped, so you must be careful." The Soul Clan patriarch on the side also hurriedly said, even his face was extremely ugly, the Soul Palace was destroyed, and there was still a lot of public pressure on their Soul Clan. According to the information we have obtained, there is no red-clothed archbishop in the Tower of Tongtian, so the 2 red-clothed archbishops are probably very likely to practice in the Holy City. Among the 2 red-clothed archbishops, Miller's strength is slightly weaker, and Blake's strength is the strongest. The 2 of them are almost both in the 2nd-level reincarnation. I don't know if the information is prepared. Several supreme elders have already gone to investigate the information of the Holy City with their great magical powers, so let's watch from a distance here. If there is any movement, report it immediately. Gu Yuan, the patriarch of the ancient clan, had no other good solution at this time, so he could only say so. Several patriarchs looked at each other, not knowing what to do for a while. They all possess the strength of the 8-star Dozian consummation. They are the leaders of the ancient races, but they are heartbroken when facing a behemoth like the Holy See. Inside the Holy See, the Holy City's Sanskrit sound is high-pitched, and the high-pitched Sanskrit sound is whispered all the time, leading countless worshippers to worship with peace of mind. The Holy City, whose predecessor is like an altar mountain for worshippers to climb, is huge, and then is a rather luxurious building complex, where all the prominent figures in the Holy See live. Yuri, something is wrong. A few quite gorgeous white palaces, a man looked panic, suddenly pushed open the palace gate, and some other voices were shouting in his mouth. Amber, the two of us have been sacrificed to the Holy See for thousands of years, and you are still so impatient. Priest Yui smiled gracefully. Yui's appearance is like a fairy walking in the world, she is quite elegant and noble. There are not too many decorations in the palace. The whole palace is different from ordinary palaces. The White Palace here is more like a delicate house, but the area is too large. There is a delicate silver table in front of the sacrifice to Yuri, and some sweet and delicious desserts are placed on the table. It is obvious that she is preparing to eat. I know that you hate others to disturb your eating, but this matter is very important. If it is not dealt with in time, I am afraid that the Holy See will face a serious challenge. Amber strode towards Yuri, ignoring the delicacies, and his voice was particularly heavy. What's the matter? Listening to Amber's solemn voice and expression, Yuri took out a clean tissue from the silver table and swept away the food residue from the corner of his mouth. Second Believer Hill has fallen, and both body and spirit are destroyed. The spiritual monuments of the First Believer and the Son of Light are bleak, and I am afraid they have been hit hard like never before. Amber said it in one breath. What? Yuri heard the words, the graceful face disappeared instantly, and a touch of stunned lingered around her beautiful face. The spiritual monument of Archbishop Lacey in red seems to be no longer in the Great Thousand World. After the breath, a heavy bullet appeared in Amber's mouth. Go and meet His Holiness the Pope. This matter is too involved. As soon as the voice fell, the two bodies surged up at the same time, and went directly to the Pope to retreat to the palace. Is the Pope not here? What's the matter? A few minutes later, the two priests were in the Pope's retreat palace. Even if they used the secret method, they couldn't call the Pope. There is only one explanation for this situation. The Pope has already left the country and is nowhere to be found. 2 sacrifices, you don't need to spend a lot of time. A month ago, in the neighboring land of Doyun continent, Shenyuan continent suddenly discovered a powerful heretic. The Holy See of Shenyuan branch arrested him, but unexpectedly that guy was the master of the Soul Eater of the Ghost Realm and sat down as a disciple. How Enia's wishful husband. Archbishop Miller took Miss Liu Qing to support her, but she hasn't returned yet. Then when Hao Enia was defeated, the Lord of Soul Eater appeared, holding 2 evil soldiers of the Ghost World to defeat the Holy See branch of the Holy Spirit and Archbishop Miller. With 2 evil soldiers, he was very powerful, so the Pope decided to go out in person and go to Shenyuan continent to kill the Lord of Soul Eater. After the rest, behind the 2 priests, a middle-aged man in a silver robe stepped through the void and walked out. The head of the red-clothed archbishop, the red-clothed Archbishop of Black? When the 2 priests heard the words, they could only nod secretly, but their expressions became even more ugly after Shorenshi. Bishop Black, the second believer has died, and the first believer and Liu Hao were seriously injured together. One of the red-clothed archbishops, Lord Lacey, was taken away from the Great Thousand World by an unknown force. The spearhead of all this points to the Medicine Clan. I'm afraid this time, the sky of Doyun continent will change. Amber kept shaking his head, helplessly. Don't worry, the Pope thought of this situation before leaving, so he left behind. The Devil of Light, and Yarrow Chengui and others, are enough to make them truly jealous. Blake disagreed, sarcastically, because with his triple reincarnation power, he was enough to intercept all the powerhouses in the entire Doyun continent. This is his heritage and the capital he is proud of. Beyond the Holy City and the Tower of Tongtian have been surrounded by their forces. I am afraid that our situation will be next. Yuri Priest said after analyzing it. Don't worry, we just have to wait. Let's start preparing separately. In a few days, there will be a grand ceremony that will be personally opened by our duty continent Vatican. When Blake spoke, his expression was extremely crazy, and even when he said the word grand ceremony, he was very strange. This time, I don't know who can open up a new era. The two priests nodded helplessly, and at the same time retreated to mobilize the power of the holy city, and the red-clothed Archbishop Black also returned to his residence. Go, this is the passage to the Endless Fire Domain. The Endless Fire territory will be handed over to you. I don't want to hear any more mistakes from a force without reincarnation powerhouses. Yes. As soon as the voice fell, an angel's shadow suddenly fell through the void and slowly walked towards the Endless Fire Domain. There was no ancient race elders found along the way, and this angel's breath seems to be the guy who captured the Devil of Light in the past. The Lord of Soul Eater, the Demon Emperor, an old rival. This time, I will use Xinyuan continent as a guide in order to attract the two of you to show up. I did not hesitate to expose the power of the Holy Sea branch of Dudi continent. I don't believe that the Demon Emperor will not come to save your lover. Ah, Soul Eater, you won't come to save your disciple. Moreover, the 4 continents of Dodi are all imprisoned by me, and even Samsara cannot travel far. This time, whether it's the Soul Eater Lord, the Demon Emperor, or the Endless Fire territory, it's all for the sake of my own promotion. The angel trap has been prepared for you, let's see if you can have that ability. Ha ha ha. The voice fell, and the middle-aged man was also disappearing, but the figure of this guy was clearly the Supreme Pope in the Holy See. But if the Pope did not leave the Holy See, then what happened to the Pope who went to Xinyuan continent? All this seems to have become confusing, but at the same time, it has become more expected. Time passed by minute by minute. Even in this tense and exciting atmosphere, the Holy See did not make any open movement, and continued to maintain the peace of the Holy Flame on weekdays. Therefore, the coalition forces composed of ancient races did not dare to act rashly. Only stalemate outside. At this point, it has also bought time for Xiao Yang's nirvana, but the Endless Fire territory is completely unaware that a massacre is slowly approaching. It seems that Feng Wanna's existence and her departure are extremely transparent in the eyes of the Pope. She left on the front foot to go to Doyun continent to jointly kill the Holy See, and then an angel came to slaughter on the back foot. The Endless Fire Domain of Xianling continent. Xianling Mountain is also the veritable home base of the Endless Fire Domain. It will be opened every once in a while, allowing countless forces under the vassal of the Endless Fire Domain to come to visit and study. Xianling Back Mountain, which is below the huge building complex in the Endless Fire territory, is composed of hundreds of stairs. It is also a place where these sect disciples like to gather on weekdays, because as long as they can successfully overcome the depression of these stone steps, they can enter inside the Endless Fire territory. Big brother, what happened ahead? Why are there so many adults guarding? At the foot of the mountain behind Xianling, dozens of young men are surrounded here, and one of them is a beautiful figure who came from a distance, with a sweet appearance and a magnetic voice, and asked him, "Koff, this junior sister. The former convenience is the headquarters of our Endless Fire territory. It is also the place where the famous territory owner Xiao Yang and the 2 mistresses live and practice. If you can enter it for cultivation, it will have a multiplier effect. It's just that I don't know why recently, Xianling Mountain doesn't allow anyone to enter or leave. In the past, it would be open to us regularly and let us go inside and learn. By the way, junior sister, I don't know which sect you belong to in the Endless Fire territory, maybe we." There was a bustling voice in the crowd, and a handsome-looking man explained the confusion, but these people maintained extremely pious respect for the so-called mistress and the Endless Fire Domain from beginning to end. "The 2 mistresses, are they on the mountain in front of you now?" the sweet woman asked. "It's definitely there. The 2 mistresses manage many things in the Endless Fire territory, and they usually live in seclusion on Xianling Mountain." "Oh, that's easy. Is there any way to get past these annoying flies and see them directly?" the woman asked, but her eyes started to turn, and traces of white light emerged from the sky, like a mighty water curtain that was about to collapse. "There's no way, the 2 mistresses don't see anyone in the state of martial law, and there are heavy guards around Xianling Mountain, ordinary people. No, you can't step in the air, this is contempt for the Endless Fire Domain, you are seeking your own death." Before the young man could finish speaking, the sweet-looking woman in front of him actually lifted off slowly, with extreme fluctuations in his eyes. "That kind of power makes you feel like you are in Senluo Hell, and it is cold. For the sake of your truth, I'll make your death a little more enjoyable. Light blade." The woman showed no mercy, just like a murder weapon, she raised her palm, and the dazzling blade of light easily took the lives of the young men in front of her. "By the way, my name is Kelly, and I'm here to hunt you down." After killing these people easily, Kylie stepped on their icy corpses, making their bones hum, and then a rather pleasant smile appeared on her cheeks, as if this kind of torture was very comfortable. Who? When this guy just finished his work, in Shenling Mountain, the brigade of the brigade burst out from the stairs of the back mountain, and immediately came around here. Let the two mistresses of the Endless Fire territory come out to see me, or I will make life here go to pieces. Kai Li snorted coldly, the dazzling energy of light overflowed, and immediately frightened the guards around them. After all, their strength is not 8-star, and facing the power of reincarnation, it is not easy to maintain the appearance of the guards. A few minutes later, Kaylin and Mu Yingying also arrived as scheduled. Hand over the demon Xiao Yang, the two of you call yourself here, go back to the Holy See with me to apologize, maybe I will consider letting go of the innocent humans here. Angel Kylie spoke slightly, and there was no room for negotiation in her voice, more like a tone of contempt and sarcasm. Reincarnation, is it strong? At this time, Mu Yingying took a step forward, and the pink acacia heartbroken and the azure blue body sacred flame were intertwined. Yingying, you step back. She's not something you can handle. On the slender hand with colorful scales, snake shadows with 10-color luster kept flowing, and they opened their mouths softly. But Mu Yingying hesitated. Even with Fenju's help and 2 holy flames, he still couldn't catch up with Sister Kaylin. That guy's teacher partner, and the territory behind him, I'll leave it to you. After Kaylin finished speaking, she jumped up directly, and dragged the angel directly into the sky in order not to let the battle between the two destroy this place. What power is this? The always arrogant angel Kylie saw this. Liu Meishing's eyes were full of strange fluctuations. Kaylin's strength was clearly only less than the 8-star fighting fairy, but the power contained in the 10-color snake shadow on her body, even if it was now that I have reincarnated, I feel a deep fear. It appears to have succeeded. Although our Endless Fire territory will face extremely terrifying dangers, I'm afraid you won't be able to win the battle over there. At a critical time, I draw a person to come back to my Endless Fire domain, and I really look down on us. Cai Lin smiled sweetly, and immediately the power of the 10-color swallowing python filled the whole body, and the mysterious snake pattern contained 10-color colors, forming a suffocating rainbow in the sky and clouds in the Endless Fire domain. Don't waste your time. Go ahead. I have long heard that there is a false ***** in the demon world, and the 10-color swallowing python is infinitely powerful. Let me kill you today. Ha ha ha. The angel's shadow snorted coldly, and the endless ripples of light swept out uncontrollably, forming a space storm on top of the conditioning in an instant. What kind of power is that? What kind of tyrannical opponent did Xiao Yang provoke? In the depths of the Endless Fire territory, at a high level, Zhu Jin and the others wondered. Are you afraid? After a while, many of Xiao Yang's elder teachers in the Burning Incense Pavilion spoke out. We are not afraid, we swear to coexist with the Endless Fire territory. Coexist and die. A mighty sound was constructed into a sound of bells, striding across the sky is extremely loud. Even though their strength can no longer help Xiao Yang, they will form Xiao Yang's backing, as the back that will always support Xiao Yang. Go rich and noble, do not forget each other, if you want to die, live and die together. This is the demeanor a person from the Endless Fire territory should have. The power of a group of ants, feel the destruction of the world. Light blade storm. A mighty voice emerged, and this place completely evolved into a real battlefield. As for Xiao Yang in Nirvana below, he seemed to feel this long-lost disgust, and his Nirvana speed became extremely fast. However, on the edge of the profound spirit continent, the dawn appeared one after another. In this light, it turned out to be a figure, and the strength of these guys was not bad. Most importantly, their relationship with Xiao Yang was extraordinary. This time, the Holy See Abacus may not be so easy to succeed. This video will end here.